The seventh Critics' Choice Television Award nominations come out on November 14th, which is this Monday. And Amanda, have you ever heard of a best of a year list coming out so early?
No, no. And they need to stop messing around because they're really just, at this point, the integrity of these awards and whether or not they matter has to start being questioned. Especially when last year they had a half year's Critics' Choice Awards, and this year it's such an odd time to do this, to be first out of the gate. They're not going to impact the Emmys. They're not going to impact anything.
I'm not sure, like I understand being first, but they're like way ahead. Like their awards will be given out on December 11th. Golden Globes announced their nominations on December 12th. So like if they want to be ahead of them, there's still plenty of time.
When are the Critics' Choice film nominations? I can't remember the date off the top of my head.
Those ones are December 1st.
And then they're going to have the awards the same day?
Yes.
Yeah, why can't they wait till December 1st?
I don't know. Like it's not unusual for awards to announce like awards on different days. Like usually the DGA, they announce their movie nominations one day, TV nominations the next day. But 2 to 3 weeks in advance, that's kind of strange. And there are no other TV awards coming out at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Last year they announced on December 14th. So they're actually a full month ahead this year. Last year that resulted in them Making a Murderer, which was such a hit with critics and the public that it went on to be nominated for the TCA Award for Program of the Year. That one also didn't appear on a single Critics Top 10 list because it came out in December. It's just very strange. I mean, you could fill an entire ballot with shows that are airing in November that have content that will not be or was not taken into consideration. Like you have Better Things, Rectify, Westworld, The Crown, You're the Worst, Jane the Virgin, This Is Us, Atlanta, Insecure, Black Mirror came out at the end of October. Like that's a lot of content not to even be really considering. Deliberations for nominations were November 1st to 11th, which is kind of funny. I'm not sure why they needed 11 days, but that's how it is. I wonder with The Crown, this is something that we're all kind of talking about right now, something that we're all kind of watching now. Like the very first reviews for that came out October 26th, and reviews on Metacritic were tallied up to November 8th, which was just a few days ago. We also have stuff like The Affair, which was nominated for Supporting Actress last year. That doesn't come out until November 18th, and there are no online reviews at this point because it's so far in advance. I don't know. It's just so bizarre why they're in such a hurry.
Yeah, I think The Crown will be in a good position because it first of all, it's incredible. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. But it's probably going to be interesting to see how many of these shows that have already been nominated and won Emmys are going to come back, or are they going to try and champion what little new shows we've seen? Are they going to go for The Crown? Are they going to go for Stranger Things? Are they going to go for This Is Us? Or are they just going to let Game of Thrones run the field again? But it's just a weird time. Do they want to just like rubber stamp what the Emmys have already done? I don't know. Because they won't be the first ones to award Game of Thrones for season 6. They won't be the first ones to award The People versus O.J. Simpson as they once would have been. So it's gonna be interesting.
Last year they actually had a few resignations over on the film side because of this need to be first, where they went back and actually added Star Wars as a nominee later on, and then some members on the film side didn't agree with that and resigned. And earlier this month, there were actually about at least 13 members. They started with about 90 members a couple months ago when they announced the nominees for Most Exciting New Series. And now their website says they only have 67 members on the TV side because they've got this partnership with Entertainment Weekly now, where the nominations will be announced there. There's going to be all this content exclusive to Entertainment Weekly related to the Critics' Choice Awards. And that didn't sit well with the TV members who are coming from all different kinds of publications and thought that, it was about a whole bunch of different publications coming together. And now also on the Critics' Choice Awards, they're going to be honoring the Entertainer of the Year as announced by Entertainment Weekly. And again, that didn't sit well with members because they think that it's endorsing them, even though they had no say in the matter. Strangely, in the list of 67 members is host TJ Miller, which seems like a little bit of a conflict of interest. It's also just kind of weird because this is a membership of what's called the Critics' Choice Awards, but it's the Journalists Association, which is the BTGA, and on their website says it's pronounced Betcha. So he's not a journalist.
I wonder if it's like an honorary membership since he's like hosting for the second time. Maybe he's not voting.
So, yeah.
But yeah, if he wins supporting actor again, which wouldn't surprise me because they went for him before he hosted, then I might wonder what's going on.
What's interesting about the Critics' Choice is they're kind of like SAG in that I believe not everybody is actually voting in the initial round. Like it says that they do deliberations for the 11 days ending today, actually. So we find that the nominations are often a lot more prone to recognizing kind of obscure performances, whereas when they open it up to the entire membership, all 67 members in this case, then I find that it's kind of surprising how often The Big Bang Theory and other shows like that win.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, they go their own way. We saw that last year. Yes, even in the half a year, they really gave The Leftovers a lot of love. And for someone who loves that show, that made me happy. But it's just an interesting thing of why they need so much time to deliver this.
I don't know. The truth is we don't know. It might just be that they're gathering, on one day and then they kind of just do some emailing back and forth beforehand. Yeah. Okay, so getting to predictions, do you have any kind of broad predictions about what shows you think will do really well this year?
I would say look for The Crown to score nominations for series, actress, supporting actor. And then if it's really, really strong, it could pick up a supporting actress nomination and then maybe best actor, which is a stretch because he's not the most likable character, Prince Philip. But I'd say that show's pretty well. This is timed perfectly for it, and it probably needs it to kind of keep its Emmy momentum going because we know Netflix has always had a trouble there. Then we're going to also have to see, are they going to go for what's really new or are they going to look back? Is The Night Of going to do better than The People versus O.J. Simpson because it just aired? Those kind of things.
Yeah, something that surprised me in recent years with the Critics' Choice is sometimes they have like two shows that it seems like they would want to award, and then they award one of them. And then especially last year with the half year, I thought that would be the perfect time for them to kind of play catch up and like award all the people that it seemed like they were going to award the previous year, like Viola Davis, Transparent for Comedy Series, and Gina Rodriguez. But in each case, they just moved on to the next thing.
Yeah, they don't really follow a pattern so much like the Emmys follow a pattern. The SAG Awards keep going back to what they like, and we know they can sometimes lag a year. We know the Golden Globes always go for new. The critics will single out individuals in like the fourth season of a show who really deserve to be nominated. They nominate children. We could see someone like Sophie Turner finally get nominated because she had a really strong season of Game of Thrones, but she doesn't have like one standout episode where everybody was talking about her. It was more overall. So someone like her could finally do well. We saw the same thing a few years ago with like Nikolai Coster-Waldau got a nomination for season 3. So it'll be interesting to see how much they gravitate towards new or how much they kind of look back from their eligibility period.
Yeah, Game of Thrones will get kind of a better shake this year than they've gotten for a few years now, because last year, they were not part of the half-year eligibility. The year before, they aired in May and June, so the critics had only kind of seen one episode by the time nominations came out. So I think it only got nominated for drama series, didn't get any acting nominations. So yeah, we could see Sophie Turner finally get a nomination, which would seem kind of weird, but actually makes sense when you look at it that way. One show that's airing right now is Rectify, and I wonder if that can kind of take the spot that The Leftovers took last year, where it's not being talked about by a ton of people, but the people who are talking about it like really love it.
Well, Rectify's been nominated.
Yeah.
It's been nominated I think the past 2 years, so it's definitely something that is on their radar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's got a 99 on Metacritic for this final season, but I think that's only based on 10 or 11 reviews. So again, it's not something that necessarily a ton of people are watching. Right now, I think that they'll give it something just because it has that love. So I haven't taken Best Actor at this point, but it's very early to tell.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on Aiden Young. He's been nominated the past 2 years, and so I would imagine he would get in. I imagine Viola Davis, because she's probably going to be nominated on the film side. They're going to nominate her here also. So it'll be interesting.
I've got Viola Davis missing. I think this is a really competitive year, and I think they're going to be ready to move on from them.
I think they're going to keep her around one more year before they drop her. But
right.
That's probably more on fences than it is anything else. So
I'll give you my list, and then you tell me who's going to be dropped.
For drama actress?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm predicting Shree Appleby, Vera Farmiga, Claire Foy, Eva Green, Kerry Russell, and Evan Rachel Wood.
Oh my God. I would take Evan Rachel Wood, Claire Foy, Winona Ryder for Stranger Things.
Actually, yeah, I don't know why I don't have her in there.
Then let's see here. I go Viola Davis and then I'm just looking at last year's nominees. I might go with Katrina Balfe because she was actually better. She had a better season 2 of Outlander than she did. And then the 6th one, yeah, I could see them still going with Unreal. I know a lot of people didn't like the season, but I thought Shree Appleby and Constance Zimmer were still amazing in it. And it could be one of those situations where the shows drop, but those two stick around.
Yeah, I don't feel like any of the kind of lack of acclaim for the second season was directed at them. I feel like I still heard just as much praise for those performances. Okay, and what do you think is winning drama series? Do you think it'll be Mr. Robot or The Americans again? Or do you think they'll go with something newer?
I think they might go newer because they're going to have different options. I think The Crown will get in. Westworld will probably get in. Maybe Stranger Things, Game of Thrones comes back. Let's see here. What else? That's 4. Rectify will probably come back again, and then Mr. Robot. And I think it will probably be interesting. It'll be one of those situations where I don't think even if they had a full year last year, Mr. Robot would have lost that category. It did have a dip in quality, but it rebounded towards the end. So I think it's probably either Mr. Robot, Game of Thrones, or The Crown. It just depends on their preference, but I think The Crown might be the shiny new thing that they kind of want to be the first ones to go, look how great it is.
Yeah, they did do that with Homeland, where they kind of got in there first, and then the Golden Globes and the Emmys eventually followed. So, and I do think that The Crown is taking both of those awards. That's another parallel. Yeah. I'm actually going with The Americans just because I just feel like the critical acclaim is so strong, but I don't know.
It really could go anyway. Last year.
Well, The Americans won for its season last year, and then it was not nominated for the half year.
Oh, that's right. You're talking about, I'm just looking at the half year. Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, I forgot to pull up 2014's nominations also.
Yeah, and then Stranger Things I find such a wild card at all these awards. I just feel like it's so off-brand for the Emmys and kind of even the Globes because it's about kids. But I don't know. People really love that one.
I always wonder if that one would do better if it was like in the limited series category.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think they are as genre biased as the Emmys are. So if and it was really well liked. And I think John Lithgow and then maybe I can't remember her whole name, Millie Brown, who plays the 11, and then you might have trying to think who else is in that. Carrie Kate Shakelin from. Am I pronouncing that right? From Mr. Robot, she had a
I
great
think it's Carly
season.
Chaikin.
Carly Shakelin, yeah. She had a great season, and she absolutely could get in and maybe take that category.
Yeah, I made my predictions in the forum, and I tried to include like a lot of weird people with names that I'd never heard before, just because that's what the Critics' Choice does. I mean, at the nominations last year, they've like they nominated Neil Flynn for The Middle, or for playing House, they have Keegan-Michael Key in Best Comedy Supporting Actor. For Best Drama Supporting Actor, they had Jonathan Jackson for Nashville, Rufus Sewell for The Man in the High Castle. I mean, they really take into account everything and try to single out performances. Where
And I like The Man in the High Castle. That's one of those shows. I think it's unfortunate it didn't get more awards attention, but I think the kind of topic of that show probably turns people off more than anything. If you haven't seen it, it's about Germany and Japan winning World War II. So that, yeah, I think Nazis occupying the United States is kind of what's maybe standing in that show's way.
Okay, and what about on the comedy side? I've got Atlanta, Blackish, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Silicon Valley, Transparent, Veep, and You're the Worst as my predicted nominees. And I think Veep will win this year. I feel like Veep is, this year especially, I felt like people rallied around it like never before.
Yeah, I do. That's one of those where I wonder if there's some fatigue where maybe I definitely see it getting back in because it's still critically acclaimed, but I wonder if everyone's kind of like been there, done that, especially since the Emmys, it did just win there and Julia's won 5, so.
It's very possible. I mean, like the TCA nominated it this year. Last year it was snubbed, even though it had won the year before. So I think there is, it could easily go to Atlanta just so they can put something on the map. Or maybe I'm underestimating like Insecure.
Well, I would look out for something like Silicon Valley because they have nominated that show in the past.
They actually awarded its last season.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, Silicon Valley. I think Thomas Middleditch is going to be a threat this time. He had a really great season.
It also has at least one vote with TJ Miller.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Any more thoughts on these upcoming nominations?
It'll be interesting to see in the miniseries movie side, I think, what they go for. Because we know Crisis and 6 Scenes, the Woody Allen, is competing in limited series, which I completely agree since he doesn't want to do it again. That's going to be a fun writing competition. I mean, the writing Emmy Awards, we're going to have Peter Morgan, we're going to have Woody Allen. We can geek out about that later. But it's going to be interesting to see Crisis and 6 Scenes. We're going to have the night of. This is probably their best opportunity that's in the Globe since it's going to be like past the year when it aired for the Emmys next year. And then how does The People versus O.J. Simpson do, considering it did win 4 Emmys? It won 4 on the main show, and then what was it, like 8 overall or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been awarded. So how many people it gets in? It's just one of those things we don't know how new they're going to go, and how far back they'll want to go. Also.
Yeah, for the movie mini categories, I have OJ taking series, actor, actress, supporting actor. I don't think it'll get as many nominations because I don't know if they're going to nominate John Travolta, Cuba Gooding Jr., even David Schwimmer. And then in supporting actress, I'm going out for Vanessa Hudgens because for Grease Live, they nominated The Wiz Live for so many nominations last year, and I feel like she's just the kind of populist choice that often turns up in the winners.
And she's
She was
very
very acclaimed
deserving.
for
She's very deserving. If I mean,
yeah.
her father passed away that day, and if she had said no, I don't want to do this, I don't think she had an understudy. She would have sunk that whole thing. So she's absolutely deserving of a nomination. And this is one of those categories where American Crime, please, please nominate Connor Jessup and Joey Polari, and let's see Lily Taylor do well. And yeah, let's see some American Crime really score some big nominations. Don't just nominate Regina King. But yeah, I would love if Connor Jessup got in there. I might be tempted to put him like my top 3.
Yeah, no, I would love to see that. Except they didn't even nominate Regina King last year, the Critics' Choice, even though they loved her on Southland. And this past year, the TCA snubbed American Crime for movie miniseries. They went with The Night Manager and Roots and other things. So I'm fingers crossed, but I'm not hopeful.
Yeah, we could also see American Horror Story, My Roanoke Nightmare, because it is airing right now and they've seen enough episodes. So someone like Kathy Bates, who has been incredible, she could definitely take the supporting actress category, and deservedly so. Because my God, you think you thought her character in Misery was crazy. This one, her last episode is amazing, where she's going back and forth between the character she played and who she is as a real person. It's kind of complicated to explain, but
yeah, it's a great season. I mean, I couldn't make it past the first 2 episodes of the last season or the one before, but this one, I'm more excited to watch it than any other show right now. I feel like it's too old for the critics at this point, but I don't know. At this point, sometimes I do well in predictions, and sometimes I'm just completely off. So
yeah, I think even if they're not big fans of nominating the program, I think someone like Kathy Bates would still get in. But they combine the guest actor, and so that'll be interesting. So hopefully we'll see someone like Laurie Metcalf finally win.
Yeah, I can't tell with Laurie Metcalf because in the guest categories they always go with kind of the pseudo regular, the person who would be considered regular at the Emmys. But then Laurie Metcalf did get so much acclaim for that performance. But again, I'm not sure if enough people saw it.
It's just one of those performances that, like Connor Jessup, I just need to see it recognized once, because it's so incredible. And to think this is a multicam show, and only someone who's so comfortable doing multicam could have pulled this off. And she's just amazing. If this was like 40 minutes in a movie, she would have been an Oscar winner for this. This is incredible. So I'm sure BD Wong will be back. I'm sure we'll probably see one or two from Game of Thrones, but she really should be considered up there as a potential winner.
For sure. And Alan Alda and Edie Falco I loved in that show as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to start airing on Hulu soon, so it's something for everyone to check out.
Okay. That's cool. All right. Well, last year I placed first. I got 84% in the predictions. This year, it is unfortunately not in the prediction center, maybe because it sneaked up on us so early. We will never know how we could have done.
You'll never get to your bragging rights. I got 100% predicting the winners ones for film, so your 84 doesn't really impress me.
This is nominations.
Oh, yeah. Nominations. Yeah. 84 is high for nominations.
The awards I did much worse. Yeah.
Oh, dear.